at 5:30. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chairman Rourke,
Here.
Counsel Belanger,
Here.
Counsel Leahy.
Here.
3 present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Today, we're here to discuss 2 motions. The first by Councilor Belanger, dealing with multimodal transportation from the Gallagher Terminal to downtown. And secondly, a motion from Councilor Leahy and Councilor Leary, dealing with the traffic and pedestrian patterns on Chelmsford Street. With us this evening, Councilor Rita Mercia, Councilor Jim Leary, Parking Director Nick Navin, Traffic Engineer Nick Bonaceto, Assistant Director of Planning and Development Kevin Coughlin, and our City Manager Kevin Murphy. That being said, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you to the members of the subcommittee. Over the past several months, we've been working diligently in the traffic division at DPD relative to the 2 issues before you this evening, both the Chelmsford Street corridor and multimodal transportation from the Gallagher Terminal to the Hamilton Canal and downtown Lowell. Those are critical issues facing the city. And Nick Bonaceto has done a wonderful job, but as you can see, it isn't just a City of Lowell issue. This issue, in order to be resolved in the best interests of the residents, includes a partnership, and those partners are here this evening. We have Jim Scanlon from the Lowell Regional Transit Authority. We have Mr. Lemoyne from UMass Lowell, and we're looking forward to having this presentation this evening that will show how the partners are working together. So I think the best thing to do is to have Mr. Bonaceto give a presentation on these 2 issues, and then we can open it for questions, which I'm sure you're going to have many. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, councilors. First of all, Tom Miliano's over here at also from UMass Lowell. So first of all, I would like to thank the city administration, the city manager in particular, and the city council for the leadership and support that they've shown with the Complete Streets program. The city of Lowell is a leader in the Complete Streets program. We just had Smart Growth America spend 2 days here visiting the city, and they kept commenting how far ahead of the curve we are nationally when it comes to Complete Streets. MassDOT has been here twice conducting workshops, bringing people and consultants from all over the Commonwealth to show off our city, and they also recognize how far ahead we are, what a leader we are in Complete Streets. So again, a lot of the credit, I think, goes with the city administration and the city council for showing leadership and support of the Complete Streets program. As you know, we also received a $400,000 grant from MassDOT for our Complete Streets, and that money will be spent to build multi-use paths in the South Common leading to the Gallagher Terminal as part of the Lord Overpass Improvement Project. All right, so just briefly, the goals of the Complete Streets is about transportation equity, meaning that we try to provide transportation access, improved access and mobility for all of our citizens to be able to access all the economic opportunities and social services and educational institutions that we have in Lowell. We're very grateful that we have such great educational Middlesex Community College as well as UMass Lowell in our downtown, and we want to be able to make sure that people are able to access those opportunities. First of all, let me go over some quick statistics about commuting to work. As you all know, the city of Lowell is just one part in the larger Boston urbanized area. The Boston urbanized area has a population of 4.7 million people and 2.7 million jobs. Lowell represents 1% of these jobs and 2% of the population. So we're a city, but we're within this larger urbanized area that stretches all the way from Nashua to Boston. And it's recognized that this area is one large labor market, and people move around. People travel in and out of Lowell within this area. So we have to recognize that we're just one part of the larger metropolitan area. The city of Lowell has a population of almost 110,000 people. 50,000 of those people are in the labor force, meaning there's 50,000 workers in our city. But however, we only have 35,000 jobs in the city. What that means is that every day, 40,000 people leave the city to go to work, and 25,000 people come into the city to work. There's only about 10,000 people that live and work within Lowell. So this is an important graphic to show the commuting patterns in our city. We also have a lot of regional traffic driving through the city every day. The 40,000 people that drive to work in places other than Lowell, that live in Lowell but travel outside to work, 89% of those people drive alone. And about 1.8% use transit this is into the city. So people commuting into the city to work every day, 89% drive alone, and about 6.6 use a carpool, and about 2% use transit. So, most of the people drive in cars by themselves. Driving out of Lowell, the 40,000 people that drive out of Lowell every day to go to work, those 40,000 people, 80% drive alone, and about 13% carpool. About 4% use transit, meaning they go to Gallagher Station and either use the commuter rail, but also a lot of people use the bus system to go to Chelmsford to jobs. So the LRTA does provide a great resource to get people to work every day coming out of Lowell. It is the 10,000 people that live and work in Lowell. Those 10,000 people are the ones that are more susceptible to walk to work or ride transit or bike. Those numbers show that about 63% drive to work. So still about 2/3 of people that live and work in Lowell still drive in their cars. And those are sort of our targets. We're much more likely to convince those people to switch modes of transportation than we are to people that come to work from Nashua or farther away. Those people are probably going to keep driving cars. So some of the challenges we have is that most of the walking trips are less than a mile. People don't tend to walk more than a mile unless they really, really have to. And only 16% of the population walks at all for anything. Biking trips are almost exclusively used for recreation. One of the other challenges we have is that the Gallagher Transit Terminal is isolated from downtown, and it's almost a mile walk from the Gallagher Terminal to downtown. School busing, due to the voluntary desegregation plan, instead of neighborhood schools, adds a lot of traffic and also prevents children from being able to walk to school. We also have a National Park Service that has a trolley system which is not integrated into our transportation network, so the trolley system is underutilized resource. And there's also a lack of bicycle and pedestrian connections along Thorndike and Dutton Street. So that's just an overview of our Complete Streets program. To respond to the specific motions that you have in front of us, the first one being Chelmsford Street. Chelmsford Street from Plain Street to the Lincoln School has several pedestrian issues. The foremost is the land use. That's the regional retail district, which is mostly drive-throughs. If you drive it in that stretch, you see all the drive-throughs. Every business has 2 curb cuts and a lot of turning traffic. It has a high frequency of turning vehicles. There's also a lot of sign clutter and distractions as you're driving down the road, and a lot of high vehicle volumes. The infrastructure, we have undefined sidewalks, meaning they're not clearly defined where the sidewalk is, where the parking lot is, where the driveway entrances are. There's no crosswalks between Plain Street and Lincoln School. And there's also inadequate street lighting. Some of the things we can do in this stretch of Chelmsford Street would be access management, although we just added another drive-through for the Domino's. So that's, I think that battle has been lost. Those driveways are there. We're very unlikely to do away with them. One solution is called a TWLTL. That's a 2-way left turn lane. That's the median. So, when you have the median where you can turn left or right, Adding that to that location in Chelmsford Street would likely reduce crash rates between 20 and 40%. That'd be one possible solution. Rebuilding the sidewalks so this is a look at Chelmsford Street. On the right, you see the CAP, the Consumer Auto Parts. You see how people just pull in, and there's no defined sidewalk. You see that the roadway's very wide there. So one of the first solutions we're talking about is rebuilding the sidewalks to provide definition and also to kind of rein in a little bit those big curb cuts. The second solution we're talking about is adding the two-way left turn lane in the middle. So that would add in the middle so you can turn left and right. What that would do is that would decrease the distance, the width of the road for travel, and also get the turning cars out of the way, and also get them so that you can see, because a lot of people stop to turn left and then people go around them because it's so wide. So that would reduce crash rates by about 20 to 40% according to the crash modification factors that we use. And then also we could put in maybe some crosswalks with an island in the middle to help at a crosswalk. Further up Chelmsford Street, this is Wellman Street. This is where the Lowe's is. So Chelmsford Street at Wellman Street. This is a design we came up with when the Connector Park apartments were coming in. We asked them to include, as part of their mitigation package, to add some crosswalks across Chelmsford and add a bus stop there, because a lot of people catch the bus right there, and also provide a little bit of improvements, wheelchair ramps and those sort of things. Between Wellman Street and Plain Street, the roadway's pretty wide. There's a 50-foot right-of-way, and the roadway's pretty wide. Most of the houses have off-street parking, except for a little stretch right there, and we also have the convenience store by Forest Street. So what we would propose is to add. This is to keep parking on the side of the street where those houses are, and narrow the travel lanes to 11 feet and add a bike lane. There's enough pavement width there to be able to do that. This would be a pavement marking, like paint exercise. That would reduce a little bit of speeds and help promote more bicycle and pedestrians movement. All right. So, any questions about Chelmsford Street? Or yes, sir.
When you talk about doing the painting and stuff like that, so later on tonight, we had a motion that came back answered about the setting speed limits.
Yes, sir.
Does that factor into this?
Chelmsford Street is not a street that can be, the speed limit can be changed on.
Okay, I did speak to somebody about that, though. I mean, we can petition the state, right? I mean,
Yes,
because there are other communities that have 133 go through their town, and the speed limit goes from 40 to 25 and then back up. So that's something, I mean, this is a state-run program too, right, basically?
Well, this is something the city can do because that's our roadway.
Right.
The speed limit, by city council vote, we can change all the speed limits in the city, but like Chelmsford Street, that needs to follow another process. So there's a difference between the statutorily mandated speed limits and those that have to be done through an engineering study. So
Okay.
Chelmsford.
But we can paint them and change the sizes.
Yeah.
We can put all the lanes we want, but we can't change the speed limit?
Right. We can change the speed limit, but that's a
Well,
process.
that doesn't
that's-
make sense though, right? I mean,
Well, it's
if it's our road to paint and mark, why can't we mess with the speed limit, so? But I'm not gonna argue that, I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense to me, so, okay, thank you.
Council Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, through you to Nick Bosanetto. Nick, great presentation on Chelmsford Street. What I would be more partial to, it's probably the most expensive option as well, but along with new sidewalks, would be to create that middle lane for left and right. That would seriously increase that traffic flow going up either way on Chelmsford Street. When you have that middle lane to take either a left or a right rather than that Dunkin' Donuts as a result of a lot of congestion, and there's several businesses there, and they're all doing very well. but end result, it results in traffic congestion into the street. So I think that would be probably the best option. It's also exactly what we're doing in front of the Lowell project, why we get the MassWorks grant. We're going to expand, we're going to make a middle lane there too to turn left and right as well, right? So I think that from research we've done in projects like this in busy streets, that's probably the most effective. So I don't, again, I don't deny it's probably the most costly, but I think that would seriously alleviate traffic flow on Chelmsford Street. So that would be my choice. So great input. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think, Council Belanger, one quick question for you, Nick.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at this, the slide or the sheet that says Chester Street, Wellman Street to Plain Street.
Yes, this one right here?
Yeah, so where's the connection between Wellman and Plain?
No, so this is the stretch from Wellman Street to Plain Street. That's the stretch of the
Oh, is it
road.
between? So going down
Yes.
from Chelmsford off, okay, going out.
Yep.
Just looking-
And
thank-
and the right-of-way is wide enough. We can actually do this just by repainting. And in the what we just talked about, putting the turn lane, we can actually do that just with paint. We don't need any more right-of-way because that street is so wide. So all these changes can be done just with paint.
And going forward with the project that's gonna be put at Wellman, no thought of lights, a stoplight, anything like that? You think you're okay with doing this?
Yeah, well, we went through the zoning board when those apartments came in, and we looked at possibly putting a traffic signal at Wellman, but it was just the traffic volumes weren't there, so we decided to kind of put the crosswalk, put the bus stop, put the wheelchair ramps, and monitor it.
So do you expect most of the traffic to be behind the Lowe's going out to Chelmsford Street?
Yeah, it would be down the Lowe's Way onto Industrial and into the connector.
And there's a light there now, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, all right,
yes.
thank you. All right.
Just,
Counselor?
first of all, thank you, Nick. I think it's a really good start. I guess the first question really, what is the funding source for some of this? Like the sidewalks, I think, are an excellent idea. It gives you structure to a very, chaotic area. Where would we begin to look for funding or grants in terms of, to make that happen?
Well, like I said, a lot of this can be done with paint, and it could be done if, that's a discussion we need to have about the paint budget with the city for painting all the stripes in all the streets. But that's a minimal cost. It's 3 cents a foot for paint. Sidewalks, we usually use the Chapter 90, and that's done through Lisa DeMayo's engineering department, DPW, and they do the sidewalks based on condition and paving. So that would have to be put together with Chapter 90. But the paint, I mean, it can be done
Pretty quickly then?
pretty quickly and pretty low cost, but we need to have the budget for it.
Okay. The couple, I know the council already had passed a sidewalk link between, I think it's where the Lowell Housing Authority and Inland Street are, waiting for some funding to support that. Walking that, I know I walked with Judith Durant, who's here today too. There's other areas where there used to be crosswalks. I mean, are there areas where you identified where that would make sense? I know you said Lincoln Street, the Lincoln School. Is there any other areas that you would recommend that take place besides that area?
Yeah, I think we would have to look at the speeds, the sight lines. I think you're talking about Avenue A,
Yep.
where the housing,
Yeah.
So we would have to look at where it would make sense, where it's the safest,
Yep.
because we only want to put in crosswalks where they're safe. So that would be an engineering study to determine where they belong, but that could be done as part of this too.
Okay, good. No, I agree with Councilor Belanger. I think that the paint in the middle median would make a lot of sense, especially around the Dunkin' Donuts in that area. I think it's a good start. I think what we need to do now is really, like you said, get the proper engineering to see where crosswalks are appropriate. I think the paint makes a lot of sense in terms of redesigning it, but I also think we need to take a look in some areas for, like you said, where these driveways are coming in for sidewalks. But that is a busy street. It's going to only get busier once, Kronos comes into play. I don't know how many additional cars we're guessing they're going to come down that street. Also with the apartment building, but also with Maycom coming in. I don't know, I think they had 200 or 300 extra people going to be in that building once that's developed, although that'll be around Hale Street in that area too. But designing this and planning that prior to that hitting, I think is going to make a lot of sense. And then you're talking the courthouse and then the entranceway into the Lord Overpass. There are going to be a lot of folks coming down 110 as opposed to just down Thorndike Street. So no, I think it's I appreciate the work and the effort going into it. I think it's a good start. I think we need to start making some decisions and moving on it coming this spring really, because it's going to happen pretty quick.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Councilor. Also joined by Councilor Samaras and DPD Director Diane Trad. Anything else, Nick?
With that, now I would like to move into the portion about the coordination between LRTA and UMass Lowell. Right, so this slide here, the area in red, that's our core downtown area as defined by our zoning ordinances. That's the UMU and DMU zones, urban mixed use and downtown mixed use. As you can see from this map, our core downtown is surrounded by minority neighborhoods, low-income neighborhoods, low English proficiency neighborhoods. And that's why when we talk about complete streets, we're talking about transportation equity. We want all these populations to be able to come to downtown and enjoy all the economic opportunities, social services, educational institutions that we have. Also, a lot of what we've been doing is going into this neighborhood business districts, like we did in Couple Square, West 6th in Lakeview, Moore and Gorham, and making them more pedestrian friendly, and then linking all those to downtown. So, UMass Lowell, University Crossing is at the top of Merrimack Street right there, and then the MBTA train station and LRTA garage is right at the edges of downtown, and then downtown's in the middle. What we want to do is create a corridor, a multimodal corridor linking downtown, Hamilton Canal, the Gallagher Station, and University Crossing. That multimodal corridor, we want people to be able to bike and walk, and their buses, catch buses, and also drive their cars. And that's what we're here to talk about today. SIP cars. Mr. Lemoyne, could you give us a little, or Tom? Okay.
I'll take that one, Nick. Thank you. Tom Miliano from UMass. We have a very successful zip car program on campus. We actually participate in what's called the University Zip Car Program, which allows 18-year-olds and above to use the zip car they're housed on campus. We started the program in 2010 with 2 cars. In 2014, we had 4 cars, and I'm happy to say today we have 14 cars. Our utilization rates are extraordinary, to say the least. We have a 40% utilization rate from, we took a look this morning from December 1st to today. We're at a 40% in a 24-hour period utilization rate of our cars. Now, in comparison, Zipcar considers 30% to be an excellent rate. So at 40%, we're doing really well, which accounts for the explosion in the program at the campus. It's also a very important part of our TDM program. Zipcar's numbers is for every Zipcar on campus, we save 7 parking spots for students bringing cars into the city of Lowell. You can argue if that number's a little high, it may be, but it's certainly 4 or 5 per Zipcar. So we're very excited about the program. I know Zipcar is looking to expand in the city. I would encourage that. It works really well for us, and if you have any questions about our program, I'd be glad to answer them.
And those SIP cars are in 3 locations?
Yes. They're all in our parking garages. We have 4 in our South Campus garage, 3 in our North Campus garage, and 7 in our East Campus garage. All we really have to do is provide them parking. They give us the signs, they manage the program. We just have to provide them access in and out of our garages. They keep the vehicles clean. They do all the maintenance in them. It's really quite frankly, a no-brainer for us.
So no cost, Tom?
No cost. In fact, we actually make a small bit of money. We sell them parking permits to use our garage. So.
Imagine that. Wow. Thank you.
Well, we actually invited Zipcar to come and talk to us. Nick Navin, the parking director, we met with Zipcar. And Nick, would you like to give a little overview of?
Hello. So I myself and my colleagues, we're supporters of car share, and I think that downtown Lowell would do well to join the growing car share network in the area. As Tom mentioned, it has a net effect of increasing parking availability. And if the topic is linking downtown to the Gallagher Terminal or the university or neighborhood business corridors, car share services offer 2-way and 1-way products that will allow the residents and visitors of downtown to do just that. So I think there's plenty of appropriate spaces downtown, within the garages, such as the university has configured, and on-street as well. So, we're having a discussion with Zipcar to learn more about the service, and, I think it'd fit well into the downtown.
Thank you, Nick. Councilor Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Nick. Great presentation now. These are great figures, and I had no idea, not only is it at no cost, is this a small profit, but, Mr. Chairman, through you to Nick Naven again and Nick Bosanetto, now, is there any future plan to tie into the UMass Lowell Zipcar system and all be incorporated with their Zipcar system at this time?
Tom, maybe you can speak on that, but I think a Zipcar user, just by virtue of them being a member of the Zipcar organization, can use the vehicles that you have on campus. So by virtue of the installations being within close proximity to one another, we would be able to kind of build on and incorporate into that network.
Yeah, that's correct. It's membership driven, so if you're a member, you can use any Zipcar no matter where it exists. So I'm assuming some of our utilization is from some of the neighborhood, particularly on our north campus. We can't, I look to try to figure out if we could figure that out. We can't, but I'm assuming that is some of the utilization.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, my mentality is it'd be useful for downtown residents, to be able to go into a garage and have a Zipcar available for them to do shopping or whatever stuff they may not be available into the downtown. So I think there'd be a big benefit to that.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to that personally. There's, try not to operate a vehicle or own a vehicle, and, there's, with having the Zipcar available, I could go to a couple square, or, by living downtown. And, I know of people who live downtown who own a vehicle only to use it very rarely, and it oftentimes sits in the garage unused. And, if they had that car sharing service available to them, that could reduce vehicle ownership and increase availability within our garages. So.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Now, after Nick Navin and I met with Zipcar, we went to the LRTA and brought Zipcar with us, and we had a very good discussion with Jim.
Yes, thank you. I'd say about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I met with Nick, and we talked about Zipcar, and they had a representative there, and everything went well. And I think the following day, we signed an agreement with Zipcar, and now Zipcar has 2 vehicles in our garage. We're hoping to have more. But I can tell you over the 3 weeks or so that they've been in, every day I drive by, at least one of the vehicles is being used. Some days it's 2. And I have to give credit to the manager, because the manager, maybe a year or so, had came up with that suggestion to us about the Zipcar. So I think we're hoping to expand it. We think that maybe we can go to 4 or 5 or even more Zipcars. So it's something that just adds to what Nick says, the multimodal approach of these facilities, whether it be UMass or the LRTA or the parking garages in Lowell.
I think that's just amazing that it only took a day from us meeting with you to the cars being there.
Right.
That's fantastic. So as you can see from the map, Gallagher, and the other thing with Gallagher stations, once the Thorndike Exchange opens up, those people will be a huge beneficiary of the Zipcar in the garage. So as you look at our map, this will give car share service a very good distribution throughout the city. All right. Next up, we want to talk a little bit about UMass Lowell and LRTA and your integration of your fare with Scheitenbachmann.
Right. I think if I can start off, Rich, I'd say thanks to the hard work of Rich Lemoyne and UMass, Rich has reached out to the LRTA and myself maybe a few months ago. We've had a dialogue for maybe longer than that, but we kind of reconnected on some issues that we thought we could have some commonality with. And through that efforts, we're taking kind of as what we call baby steps, trying to get a better connection between what the LRTA provides and what the university does, and really try to, and right now what it's led to is a proposal that we're hoping to begin through the university in January, where the students of the university would be able to use the LRTA by identifying themselves with an ID and really being able to have, use us whenever they want. Because as you all know, right now, they just get on the university system, and generally they don't pay anything, but, obviously when kids are going to school, they're a little bit reluctant to get on some other vehicle that they have to pay for. So I think the efforts of the university have been terrific here, and I think we have a meeting tomorrow, and we're really trying to finalize a pilot program, which would begin in January. So with that, I'll turn it over to Rich.
Jim, thanks. That was a great overview. So the university's interest is definitely less vehicles that come into Lowell is better, especially to get over those bridges, aren't parking in our parking lots, also does all the right things, reducing greenhouse gases, and also our Scope 2 emissions. Working with the LRTA through Jim's group is really opening up the door. What we're looking at, and just some of the demographics of UMass Lowell. We have 13,000 undergrad students. We have about 5,000 evening school students or grad students. So a population of students alone running about 18,000. 5,000 of these students live here right in the city. And from there, we have about 2,000, a little bit more than 2,000 employees. We know that the LRTA services many of our students that aren't living on campus, along with the staff and faculty that are around the periphery. And if our thought right now is to run a pilot program in which from January through July, what that would allow us to do is, as Jim said, anyone within our community show their UMass Lowell ID. They would be registered onto the bus. We would find out the metrics. Who's using it? Are the students going to shopping on the weekends, hitting the malls, hitting movie theaters, coming downtown? And then what that would allow us to do is create some metrics to further look at the program. With that, we're looking to kick this thing off. Yeah.
And, Scheidt & Bachman is, they're the fare service that runs on the buses, and they're the ones that can grab all this data, and so we're really, really lucky to have them in town. Nick Navin and I actually went over to look at their laboratories and look at all the parking devices, and it's really amazing what they have over there. So we're looking to really put together a good relationship between Scheidt & Bachman and the city of Lowell and the RTA. One more thing that you guys are also doing is the number 7 Pawtucketville bus.
Yes, I would say 4 or 5 months ago, thereabouts, Rich and the university and Tom had come to us and to try to see if we could have more of a presence at the university. And one of the ideas that came up was at the new building where the university crossing is, could we, as the number 7 comes off the bridge, the Howell Bridge, it was just going straight and then taking a right and then going down Merrimack. But we kind of thought it would be a good start to maybe take a right and then a left and come into Salem Street, and so that there would be a presence of an LRTA bus at the university. We run that bus. It's one of our most frequent buses, as you know, the University Pawtucketville bus. It runs every 30 minutes throughout the early morning and later in the evening. So on the inbound, it's located generally every 30 minutes or so at the university. And Rich had a good story as he was coming over here tonight. You can say that.
Sure, just walking out of the building to come to this meeting, sure enough, the LRTA bus pulls into our hub. 3 students on the bus, one just entering the bus. So it's being used, and we needed that link to get persons from the MBTA, when they're coming off that train, up to our campus and vice versa. When they're leaving campus, get them back to the, down to the train. So it's worked out really well, and, thanks to the LRTA. With that being said, we really are working well together and look forward to really enhancing some good programs that's going to reduce the vehicles coming into the city.
Great. Thank you, Rich. So just to wrap up, so you're starting in January, anybody with a UMass Lowell ID will be able to ride the LRT buses?
That's
LRT.
correct. on their full schedule, so we won't limit them to just one corridor route around the city. They could come in from any of the adjacent towns and utilize it on weekends. Whenever they're running, all they have to do is show their ID. And we're going to pilot that program through July.
Great, thank you. Any other comments from the councilors? Councilor O'Leary.
First, just thank you. I know Councilor Belanger worked on it, but Councilor Milonazo and I had a pretty comprehensive motion that this was one part of it, really linking both the two big bus services in the city in terms of doing that, and this is a good start, and I want to give kudos to both UMass Lowell and LRTA and to the administration for being tenacious and making this happen, because I think it's not only going to benefit UMass Lowell students, but it's going to benefit citizens of Lowell as well, so it's very positive, and I'm glad to see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. We also have Councilor Manazza here today. With that being said, anybody from the audience, the public want to speak? No? Okay, Councilor Belanger?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, this motion was inspired by me back in February. And, you know, initiative, you know, when you're elected official, you look at everything different. When it's snowing out, the first thing you say is, oh my God, how much are we getting? How much is it going to cost the city? So one day I was just coming from Boston off the train, and, you know, that I just seemed to haven't done in a long time. And I came off, and I'm out front, and I didn't have a vehicle, so I had to wait. I says, you know what if I was a visitor here coming to the city? Okay, and I wanted to hit multiple destinations. You know, I want the visitors to have the ability to hit multiple destinations within the city limits, the university, the downtown, museums, restaurants, whatever it may be. So the answer to that is multimodal forms of transportation. And I could see the wheels are already spinning, no pun intended, with the partnerships that are already taking place with UMass Lowell, LITA, and that's a tremendous merger. I think it's going to be mutually beneficial. So that is the spirit of the motion, to have people have the ability to hit multiple destinations with Zipcar, you know, to have them in UMass Lowell garages and city garages. I think would be a tremendous economic impact to the city for visitors to be able to have that ability. So I think we are well on our way. So my answer to you, I mean, it seems on a car share program is well on its way, along with the LITA's cooperation with the UMass Lowell. Now, what the missing link, Nick, seems to be a bike share program. So what have we achieved in that regard?
So that's a good transition. So with bike share, UMass Lowell has a very good system that they have themselves, the Freewheeler Bike Share Program. If you would like to talk about that one.
Yes, thank you, Nick. Yes, our Freewheeler Bike Share program is very successful on campus. It's actually run out of our campus recreation center. Staff run it for us. Although it's run out of the CRC, it's used for not only recreation, but it's actually used for transportation between our campuses and downtown to the ICC. Basically, there's 40 bikes available on campus, 30 for day rentals and 10 for long-term week rentals. Any student, faculty, or staff can go to the rec center and sign up to be a member of the Free Wheels program. Costs them nothing. They have to take a quick test, a quick bike safety test, and then a quick written exam just to make sure they're competent to run a bicycle. We provide them with all the safety equipment they need to traverse the city streets, and away they go. So they reserve it, go off. If they rent it on East Campus, they can leave it on South Campus, vice versa. Every once in a while, they have to go around with one of our big vans and collect and redistribute the bikes, but it's been very, very successful. Obviously, we would look and look to the city to partner with some kind of bike share program if you were to go down that road. I know there's some programs out there, the Zagster program and other more high-tech programs than we have. Ours is very labor-intensive, but some of like the Hubway program in the city of Boston is all app-driven and it's all technology-based, so there's very little human interaction. Ours actually opens and closes because we have staff and student staff running the program. But it is very successful. On nice days, you're hard-pressed to find a bike. Yes, we also provide, yes, thank you, Rich. We also provide, in addition to the class, we provide bike maps, safe travel maps to the students or the faculty staff members that use the bicycles.
Great, Tom, it's great. Thank you very much. Nick?
Yeah, so, like that said, they have a committee, bicycle pedestrian committee that Sydney Leong, our bike and pedestrian coordinator, attends. We did look at Sagster, that's another like hubway, a bike privately run, and they were looking to about $9,000 per station. Now, I think we would rather be one system with UMass Lowell and instead of having two systems in the city, instead of UMass Lowell running their system and us having a private company that we pay $9,000 per station to, I think it would be easier to have an integrated system with UMass Lowell. So I think that's the direction we should go, and I think perhaps through the direction of City Council or and the City Administration, if that's desired, we can look into that further.
Great, Nick, thank you. I think these two motions got a lot done at this meeting. It was very encouraging. A lot of things that, again, with speaking of the partnerships between the city, the university, the community college, and the LRTA, I think it's very promising going forward. And I'm sure, Mr. Manager, that these will be things that we probably put in place rather quickly. Great. That being said, any further comments? Councilor Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I couldn't agree with you more. I am very, very pleased with the progress that has taken place, and thank you. Thank you so much to our partners at UMass Lowell and LITA. Jim, thank you so much. Zip car rental from the train station is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. I think for our businesses and our museums, our shops, the Songus Arena, you name it. There's a very, very beneficial impact to that. Now, Jim, out of curiosity, how many visitors approximately per day come off the Gallagher terminal? Being the center, you're the hub of you're the Lowell transportation. Approximately how many visitors do we get to the city?
Again, I'm probably guessing, but we're probably in the neighborhood of a couple thousand a day just on the commuter rail. Downstairs with the buses, it's probably 1,500 or thereabouts. So it's about 4,000 to 5,000, I would think.
Wonderful.
35 to 5,000.
That is a significant number. Not to mention the large festivals, the Folk Fest, the Winter Fest, and that number catapults with that being said. So, to have the capability, Jim, of Zip Car there and potential of bike share too, I think there'd be another benefit to that to connect to UMass Lowell, the city. So that I look forward to that future partnership, Nick. I look forward to future updates on the bike share program with UMass Lowell is already initiated, and I think it proves it works. There's a demand for it. It's successful. So I think that's our next focus point, to making Lowell a multimodal transportation mecca right from the Gallagher terminal to all points throughout the city. I think it's great, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your hard work. I think this is very, very important. I really do. So I appreciate all your efforts and look forward to working with you.
I said to Nick a moment ago, I said, when we finish the modernization at the Gallagher terminal, we would definitely like to look at the bike share program.
Wonderful. Yeah, it looks like, thank you for the demonstration. I toured it last week, Jim. Best of luck on your renovations. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Leahy?
Yep, thank you. I just want to thank everybody for coming down for the presentation, good presentation. And I just wanted to put a bug in your ear too, where we're talking about connecting all parts of the city, and we're redoing the Lord Overpass and all these bike routes. The other section that we're working on is trying to get that Western Ave open, and we're having discussions now with Congresswoman Songus' office, and trying to get the railroad to cooperate with us. So the more partners we can have with that, because again, that's going to be so important when we redo all this, the Hamilton Canal, the Lord Overpass, and connect the city, getting the buses and the people in and out through the artist lofts, at Western Ave and through downtown is going to be a big part too. So any help we can get with that, we'd appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Samaras?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I concur with Councilor Leahy. Western Ave, it's an important aspect in the city, and opening that area up to the rest of the city. Its future is wonderful. But I want to thank the chairman for having this meeting. I think for the people in Lowell, actually, every city council at one point has brought up a motion on parking, on traffic, on the speed limits, all of these issues. And to see the university, the LRTA, and the city working together, I think it shows very clearly to our constituency that we are working on it, that we're making a real, true effort. So I want to commend you for that, because it's important for us to, in order for us to have credibility, you have credibility when you can show what is being done. And tonight, you've demonstrated very clearly that there's been good thought in this process. So again, I want to thank you, thank the chair for having this meeting.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I hate to be redundant, but I do want to say that Lowell is very great only because we have great partnerships such as yourself. This is a fine example of that partnership. We know that the city is a destination city. I don't know how you get here, but whatever means of travel it takes to get here, we have an obligation as a city to make the streets safe. And I could see from these plans that they're clearly safer. We need not only safer for the people that come into the city, but safer for the people to have streets that are defined so you know which way you're supposed to go, and it's clearly put down there so you'll know. Also for the sidewalks, when you have an opening and it's a free-for-all for cars coming in and out, that's confusion. So to define it by way of curb cut and curbing is very, very important. It may not seem like a big deal, but it is to me. And so to clearly see that, this is a great proposal here. So I'll do anything I can to support it. I wish we were here at the table today saying that we're going to start this project maybe next week or in the spring, but I don't know. We'll do our best, because Chelmsford Street, the lot overpass in that area, it's an area that it's about their turn. It's about time for their turn. So that's good news for the people in the Highlands. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Thank you to UMass Lowell, the city, and Jim Scanlon from LRTA. Thank you so much. You're always there to help, and it's a great partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. With that being said, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you.